Holy cow. Well, on my New Year's video, I talked about I was going to do a top 25 moments of Dale Earnhardt. I'm not pleased with my list. I'm not pleased with the top 25. The only one I'm pleased with was number one. So I decided to forego it. I'm not going to be doing a top 25 Dale Earnhardt moments. I will be talking about Dale in a different way. So yeah, so I'm foregoing that. In my Why Did It Fail series, I haven't done any this month. I'm not pleased with how my videos are turning out. So I'm foregoing that too. I do have other videos planned, top 10s, top 20s, what have you. I do have other videos planned for that you will see in the future. I'm not ready to delve into that information of what it's going to be because I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. So that's pretty much what is planned. I have foregone that, and wow, you know, I was thinking, 2001 was one of those most interesting years in history, and it's hard to believe that it's been 25 years. It's almost 25 years for 9/11, which I have something planned for that on that anniversary. But I was thinking, that's ironic that you have two life-changing events. Usually you can barely get one in a year, but you have two that happen in the same year. That's pretty amazing. You had 9/11 in September, and then February 18th, 2001, we lost Dell. And I was really excited for the season because I remember watching, Dell, unlike Richard Petty and Jimmy Johnson when they won their seventh championship, Father Time caught up with them and they weren't competitive after that. They just weren't competitive after winning their seven championships. Dell was still very, very competitive. Even at his age, he was. And he had won seven championships, and in 2000 he had a good season. He had a really good season. He had a couple wins. He ended up finishing second in the championship. So I was really excited for the prospect of maybe, because I was a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. I was a huge Dale Earnhardt fan, like a lot of people were, and I was really excited and stoked about the 2001 season because I thought with his second place finish the year before, this could be the year that Dale Earnhardt maybe would retire out on top because there was speculation going in the 2001 season that this could be his last season. So it would have been like a John Elway type of situation or Michael Jordan where he would go out on top because I really thought with his resurgence in 2000 that he was going to have a great season and maybe an eighth championship. But as we all know, that didn't happen. And was it one of the worst wrecks I've ever seen from Dell, or even one of the worst wrecks I've seen in NASCAR, period? No, it really wasn't. Just a cow? Yeah, early in his career at Pocono, he had a worse wreck. He walked away from that. And there was one more recently that he did, like in 1996, where he hit the wall really hard at Talladega going 180 or 190 miles an hour, maybe 200. He hit the wall really hard and he ended up not really walking away. He had to get an ambulance. But yeah, there was worse wrecks from Dell. This one didn't look incredibly bad at Daytona. I mean, he did hit the wall hard, but it didn't look like the worst. And I remember watching it live, because I guess I did watch it back then. I don't watch NASCAR like I used to. I'll get into that in a bit. And I remember watching it live. I'm like, oh, it's Dell. He's Iron Man. He's Iron Head. He's going to get out of the car. He's going to put his thumbs up. And he'll be fine. He will be fine. It didn't work. It didn't come out that way, did it? No, it did not. or I wouldn't be doing this video. And it was one of the most tragic, NASCAR had tragic deaths, no question, in the 90s. And so it was common, but they weren't big names. They weren't huge names like Dale Earnhardt. So when that happened to Dale Earnhardt, that shook NASCAR to its absolute core. They're like, how are we going to be able to move forward with this, with Dale Earnhardt's passing? Because that's a huge, huge blow. I mean, losing Dale, I really believe, just the Cal believes it too, that NASCAR has not really recovered from that. I don't think it has. I know it's been 25 years, which is unbelievable. They had the NASCAR, they had the Daytona Sunday, and they said that was 25 years. No, today is the official anniversary of it. This is official anniversary. And I don't think NASCAR has bounced back from this, because you can look at some of the personalities they have. You know, they had Jeff Gordon, they had Jimmy Johnson, they even had Dale Jr. But there's that one. There's that one that goes, that screams, bigger than life? Is there one that's a colorful character? No, there's really not. There's really not, because Dale was NASCAR. I mean, the ratings were dwindling. It was like Bird and Magic. When they came along, the ratings for NBA started to come up. They pretty much saved the NBA. NASCAR's the same way. The ratings were dwindling when Dale came along, and the ratings started to go up, and NASCAR exploded in the 80s and in the 90s, even up until this time, in 2001. So yes, it had exploded. In the last few years, NASCAR's ratings have been down. They have really been down, because there's not one personality that makes people tune in to NASCAR. Not even me. I don't watch NASCAR. I might watch a couple races a year, and that'd be about it. I barely watch it anymore, because I don't know some of these names. I don't know half of the names that are in NASCAR, because I don't really view it much, because I don't know. They did a song about the day that NASCAR died, it's no question going to be when Dale Earnhardt tragically passed away. And I just think they have not recovered. And you know, I remember after the race, people forget Michael Waltrip even won this race. And I remember after the race that the president got on there, NASCAR president, and said we lost Dale. And I was like, what? That don't seem real. That seems like a nightmare. And I remember the following week, it was business as usual. I get it. I remember in WWE when Owen Hart died tragically during an event, they went ahead with the event, because it's business and the show must go on. Same way with NASCAR. The show must go on. And it just looked like the following week, nobody wanted to be there. Nobody wanted to be there, including Dale Jr., who ended up wrecking like on lap 2 or something like that. So nobody really wanted to be there. And as the season went along, it just seemed like nobody wanted to be there, including his son, Dale Jr. Nobody wanted to be at the track. But business did go on. Jeff Gordon ended up winning the championship, but everybody's heart was still thinking about Daytona. And people just sort of went through the emotion. NASCAR drivers went through the emotion. All the drivers did. Because they didn't really want to be there because of what happened. And as the years went on, you know, NASCAR started. It's funny when you think about it. His legacy is going to be about the safety in the cars now. That's weird. That's his legacy, when he was one of the greatest drivers. It depends who you talk to. Some say Richard Petty's the GOAT. Some say Dale's the GOAT. There's very few that will say Jimmy Johnson's a GOAT. But he was one of the greatest drivers of all time, depends who you think is. And so, but his legacy is more about the car safety now, because since then, we've had some bad accidents, but no fatalities since Dale Earnhardt's tragic death in Daytona. And you know, it almost feels like this happened just yesterday. The memory is still pretty fresh in my mind that it's 25 years later. And when you're thinking about it, you go, wow, 25 years. Dale Earnhardt, 9/11 happens in the same year. That is one of those most ironic things that you can ever think about, that both happened in the same year. That is pretty amazing in and of itself. And my memories of Dale are mostly, not all are from this race, but my memories of Dale are from when he was in his prime in the 80s and even the 90s. And that's what I remember about Dale, how he dominated seasons. He literally would dominate seasons because he was on a different level. And I do believe if this didn't happen in 2001, he probably would have won his 8th championship. But you know what? That didn't happen. And 25 years later, people still miss Dale. He probably would have retired after the 2001 season. What would he have done? You know, I think DEI would have been very successful. I don't think it would have went under. It's a different story for a different time. If I ever do that, which I doubt I will. And I don't think it would have went under. You know what? I think that he probably would have been a team owner. He might have even went into the broadcast booth, which would have been interesting, because if you've seen Dale Jr., he's very charismatic. Dale was really charismatic. So I think he would have even been in the commentary booth. He would have been a team owner. He would have done something like that. But we don't know if he would really still be alive. I'm just going on the premise if that hadn't happened in 2001. And you know what? I forgot to mention it at the beginning of the video. No, I did mention it, about I have some top 10, top 20 videos planned. I don't want to delve too deep into that because I decided to, You know what? This video is so long that I've forgotten what I talked about at the beginning of the video. I know, just a cow. This happens sometimes. And you know what? That's about it. That's my memories of 25 years. Sure flies by fast, doesn't it? Wow. Just wow.
Me and Mom are saying that's all for now.
That's all for now.